So let's be clear on one thing. Your finances will never be the same. And I want to explain why, because we are actually seeing some people hide the truth about what is happening to our money. Now here's what I can tell you. More than 40% of baby boomers are close to retirement and have no retirement savings. But this is only the beginning of their problems. We know close to 40 million student loan borrowers could soon see that they will now be on the hook to paying back their student loan debts. And obviously, this is not what they had planned, but this is probably what's going to happen. We also know the average Social Security recipient collects about $1,800 per month, which is sometimes not even enough to cover their rent and their food. Now, I think we can all agree that these are problems, but these three things are not even close to being the biggest problem that we are currently facing. And before I get to that, make sure you do one thing, that is smash the like button. It just shows me that you enjoy these daily updates on the current state of our economy. Now, here's the problem that many people have. The problem is that they don't know which direction the U.S. economy is going to turn. We just don't. Are we going to end up in a recession? Will inflation continue to come even lower? Will banks actually collapse? Those are questions. These are all legitimate questions that we deserve answers to. However, we're not getting the truth from our lawmakers, from company executives. We have no clue. Now, I'm going to do my best to explain what is happening right now and how this is going to negatively impact you financially. But first, let me help you make a little bit of extra money, put some more money into your pocket. Now, for the next 24 hours, anybody that signs up for Webull, it's a stock trading platform. Webull will gift you at least 12 free stocks, but up to 24 free shares, and all you got to do is put in just $1. That's right. You get up to 24 free shares, but again, you at least get 12. So the minimum you will get is $36 as a gift. This is just to open up a Webull account. Again, if you have not opened up a Webull account yet, go and do it. I'll put the link down in the description box below. You deposit just $1. They will give you 12 free stocks, and they will be valued at least $36. But you could also get up to 24 free stocks as well. So if you want to go and do that, I highly recommend go and do it. Do it within the next 24 hours because they will gift you double the amount of stocks that they normally do. And again, if you don't want the account after 30 days, close it, pull out the $36, right? Free money. Now, why should we care and why should we worry about a profit like this? Well, it's simple. Right now, everything's costing you more money. Yeah, food, rent, utilities, medications, everything costs more money. This doesn't just pertain to stores. Just look at your credit cards. Because as the Federal Reserve continues to raise rates and the federal funds rate keeps going up, guess what? It pushes your interest rates up even more on all your credit cards. Obviously, this is a problem. This results in you making larger monthly payments and your debt actually increases at a faster rate. Now, here is the biggest problem. Because credit card debt is not the biggest problem. It's a major concern, but it's not the biggest problem. Right now, the biggest problem is with the banking industry. This is banking crisis that we now know of. Just 2 weeks ago, we saw reports that there were about 186 banks that were at risk of a financial collapse. That was 2 weeks ago. Today, we're now getting reports that about 720 banks are reporting unrealized losses of more than 50% of capital. Yeah, these banks will go under if they have to mark these unrealized losses as a loss. Again, banks are in trouble. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much these banks are going to hurt and how much a bank closure will impact all of us. The reason they're in trouble is actually because of commercial mortgage-backed securities. I've talked about this a little bit over the past about 6 months or so. We're starting to see more of this come to come to light. We're seeing more updates on this. Banks and companies are now letting us know what exactly is happening. And that's great, but at the same time, it's also very concerning because now we're getting the truth. And the truth is that this industry has been hammered for a while. Right now, lenders are unable to refinance loans on commercial spaces because they've lost so much value over the last handful of years. And if these lenders decide to sell, right, just unload the properties, this amount of losses that they're going to incur, this is going to go on the books, and it will cripple their companies. This is why experts say we are officially in limbo. Because right now, according to experts, they say we're just waiting for that big domino to fall. Once that big domino falls, we will then know what we are looking at. But think about this. Think about this for a second. Reports are now indicating that in order to shore up FDIC, due to all the recent bank collapses, regulators are now looking into the big banks and having the big banks pay larger fees. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's good. The big banks should pay the larger fees, right? But when this happens, not if, when this happens, the bigger banks aren't going to let that additional fee eat into their profits. You know what they're going to do? They're going to push the cost onto you and I. We are going to pay these fees. And I know what you're thinking, well, if the big banks do this, if JP Morgan decides to charge me more to keep my money in their bank to do them a favor, I'll just go to the smaller banks. But have you seen what's been happening lately? Think about this for a second. The big banks like JP Morgan, they're buying up the smaller regional banks as they collapse. So they're doing this for pennies on the dollar. The big banks are coming in, they're going to charge you more money. They're going to make more money because they're buying these additional banks for pennies on the dollar, right? Because these smaller banks, these regional banks, are struggling. JP Morgan can take on some of these bad assets. They can go and absorb some because they're big enough. Guess what? These big banks have been rigging the system in their favor for a while. And as they become bigger, we are going to pay for it. Not them. We are going to pay for it. And this is where I think a lot of people are hiding the truth about what's really happening. Some are saying that JP Morgan stepped in, right? They rescued First Republic. They rescued Silicon Valley, right? They're going to rescue all these different banks. Are they really rescuing these banks? Or are they just furthering their self-interest? Are they just getting bigger at the expense of the American people? That's the question. Again, your finances are never going to be the same. Your finances are going to change simply because we are losing some of these smaller regional banks, these mid-tier banks. We're going to lose some of them. According to experts, that is what we need to do. We need to kind of thin the herd. The good banks, they will stick around. The problem is, this is also going to cost you more money. This right here is going to cost you more money. So, even though you may be thinking, well, I don't have a lot of money, it's no big deal. I don't keep money in the bank. It doesn't matter. Just because you don't keep money in the bank, that doesn't mean anything. Because guess what? Maybe you rent an apartment, right? You rent an apartment. Okay, great. And your landlord, they keep their money in the bank. Well, if they keep their money in their bank and they have to cover their expenses, guess what? You're paying it. Yeah, you are paying it. This is the problem. It doesn't matter if you keep your money in JP Morgan, you keep your money in Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you keep your money in Pac West. It doesn't matter. If a banking collapse happens, the guarantee is we will all be affected. So, just wanted to fill you in on what's currently going on. Again, this is not the greatest news, but this is the truth. This is what we are seeing at this time. So, as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.